All right, let's dive in. Today, we're going to talk about a mental model that will totally change the way you look at, well, pretty much everything you do in a live setting, from a presentation at work to a simple conversation. It's called the performance model. You know, most of us think of creating something and then performing it as two totally separate steps. First, you write the song, then you play it on stage. But what if that's all wrong? This quote from theater director Robert LePage turns that whole idea on its head. It suggests that the act of performing, of actually being live in front of people, is where the real creation happens. I know, it sounds like the beginning of a bad joke, right? But the answer gets right to the heart of what we're talking about today. Both of them, the robber and the surgeon, understand that what they do isn't just a series of tasks. It's a live performance. And to pull it off, you have to think like a director, not just someone going through the motions.
So let's break this down. When you peel it all back, a performance isn't just one thing. It's a system. It's made up of three essential parts that are all interacting with each other in real time.
Okay, first up, you've got the actor. And no, we're not just talking about someone in a Shakespeare play. The actor is anyone executing a task. It's the surgeon with the scalpel, the teacher at the whiteboard, the CEO giving an update. It's just the doer, the person taking the action.
Then there's the space. And listen, this part is so important. The place where something happens is never just a neutral backdrop. It's an active ingredient. A perfect example is Pope John Paul II's visit to Poland back in 1979. He didn't just hold Mass anywhere, he held it in Warsaw's Victory Square, a place packed with history about Polish resistance and survival. That choice of space gave his words a power they never would have had in some generic hall. The space literally co-wrote the message.
And that brings us to the third piece of the puzzle, the audience. And these folks are not just sitting there passively watching. No way. Their presence, every little reaction, a laugh, a sudden silence, the feeling in the room, it's all a live feedback loop that the actor is constantly reading and adjusting to. The audience isn't just watching the event, they are actively helping to create it.
So this all leads to a really crucial distinction. Think about it like this. A product, say a book or a song on Spotify, can be copied 1,000,000 times, and it's always the exact same thing. But a performance? Whoa, that's completely different. It's lightning in a bottle. It only exists in that one unrepeatable moment, created by that specific actor in that specific space for that specific audience. You can record it, sure, but you can never, ever duplicate it.
So, you might be asking, how do I spot a real performance in the wild? How can I tell if what I'm looking at is a performance or just a product that happens to be delivered live? Well, there's a simple diagnostic tool we can use. It's called the presence test, and all it asks is this one simple question. Could this be recorded and played back later with absolutely zero loss of meaning or impact? If the answer is yes, then you've got yourself a product. But if the answer is no, if something essential gets lost in translation, if you just had to be there, then my friend, you are inside a performance.
And here's how you can do it yourself. It's super easy. First, just try to name the signals that only exist live, in that room. You know, the energy, the shared glances, the feeling of anticipation. Second, try to capture the event, record it. And third, you look at the difference. You measure what's called the delta. That's the gap between the live experience and the recording. That gap, that is the performance.
You know, David Byrne from the Talking Heads absolutely nailed this idea. And you felt this before, I guarantee it. You go to an incredible concert, the energy is electric, and then you listen to a recording of it later and it just feels kind of flat. That flatness, that missing social and visual buzz, that is the delta. That's the magic of being there that a recording just can't touch.
Okay, so now that we know how to spot a performance, the next big question is, how do we get better at it? The secret is actually a pretty fascinating paradox, and it's all about what makes great performers look so darn effortless.
And here's the big secret, the paradox at the heart of it all. When you see someone who's a master at what they do, it looks so easy, right? It looks improvised, like they're just making it up as they go. But that spontaneity, it doesn't come from winging it. It is the direct result of an insane amount of deep, internalized preparation. They've done the work so many times that their conscious mind is now free to play and respond to the moment.
Let's go back to that bank robber I mentioned, Willie the actor Sutton. Get this, he robbed banks for decades and almost never used a loaded gun. How is that possible? Because of his extreme preparation. He would case the bank for weeks, studying the layout, the schedules. He cast his crew in specific roles. He used these incredible disguises, dressing up as a mailman or a window washer. His robberies were performances, so well rehearsed they just looked like a normal part of the day.
And this really gets to the core of it, okay? Deep preparation isn't about memorizing a script word for word. It's about practicing the basics so much that they become second nature, freeing up all your mental bandwidth to actually read the room and improvise. Winging it does the exact opposite. All your brain power gets eaten up just trying to remember what you're supposed to say next, and that's why it almost always looks so stiff and clumsy.
So once this idea clicks, you're going to start seeing performances everywhere. Seriously, it's not just for actors on a stage. Let's run through a few examples really quick.
First up, the courtroom. I mean, it's practically a literal theater, right? The lawyer's the actor, the jury's the audience, the courtroom is the stage. A closing argument isn't just reciting facts, it's a performance designed to connect with that jury in that room right now.
Or how about the operating theater? They even call it a theater. A surgical team has their protocol, that's their script, and they have rehearsed it to death. But every patient is a new live event. That deep preparation is what gives them the freedom to improvise when something unexpected happens on the table.
Okay, let's bring it into the boardroom. That big pitch for funding, it is so much more than just a slideshow of data. It's a performance of conviction, of competence, of vision. The investors, your audience, they're not just evaluating the idea, they're evaluating the performers. And this even applies to the tech world. A live product demo, that is a performance through and through. The engineer isn't just clicking through features, they are performing the software's elegance and power for a live audience, whose reactions can literally make or break the whole deal.
All right, so how can you take all this and start using it like today? Well, it really just comes down to asking yourself 3 simple questions.
This is it. This is your go-to diagnostic tool for any live situation. First, can you clearly name the 3 elements? Who's the actor, what's the space, and who is the audience? Second, ask yourself, what would be lost if this were just a recording? That tells you how big the performance element is. And third, when you see something that looks easy, ask, is that ease coming from deep preparation or just dumb luck?
And that brings us to the final question, the one I want you to take with you. Think about it. We all have parts of our jobs or our lives, weekly meetings, client calls, maybe even tough family conversations that we treat like they're just tasks to get through, like a product on an assembly line. So here's the question. What product in your life is actually a performance, just waiting for you to step up and be a better director?